All right, my future forum freaks, I'm back. It's been a while. I know. I'm sorry. It's been too long. I got a new job. Been moving. I'm busy. Sue me. Sorry. I'm poor. Um, you guys can change that though. Blow this video up and maybe one day I won't be poor. But for now, I gotta work a lot. And that being said, there'll be more of these coming. But you guys need to give me some ideas too. What do you want to see? I want to know. Put in the comments what type of shit that you guys want to see because somebody asked me to react to this video right here. Okay, this is Random Fitness's forearm video. He made this a little bit ago. Okay, if you guys aren't familiar with this channel, um, Randumb DUMB fitness, and I have checked out his channel in the past. I've seen a few of his videos. From what I remember, I liked him for the most part. But this video, just like with every other forum video, probably going to be the exception to the rule. Okay, I'm not going to lie. I watched this video a couple times beforehand, just to check it out, do some preparation, try to gather my thoughts, and also because I'm always genuinely curious. Every single time I see a new video on forums out, which it's funny. There seem to be a lot more of them these days. But whenever I see another video on the forums come out, I always watch it because I'm very curious what people are saying about this now, and to see if we've gotten past the Stone Age with them in the fitness industry yet. And it seems like we still haven't because people are still recommending the same shit over and over again. Every single thing that I said in my first video on forums, it's all going to be, it all comes to light. And this video is not really an exception. However, he makes some good points here and there. Okay. And this is not going to be a video of me attacking the guy personally. This is just my opinion on the information he's giving with how to train the forearms. I think most of it is kind of poo poo, but you guys will see why in a second. So let's get to it. If it'll.
What if I told you that to grow your biceps, all
What
you
if
have
I
to do is just back-focused exercises? You'd call me a stupid dumb idiot, of course, but this is exactly the pitfall people can fall into with their forearms and even other muscles. Let's say we have Jimmy. He wants to know how to grow his forearm, and he's been told that all he needs to do is just do all his back work without grip assistance. So he says screw it to direct forearm training and continues getting stronger at his back exercises. Many months and even years pass.
Now, why would that be bad, guys? Why would it be bad to use your back exercises to train your forearms? Why? Well, he says it. If you're trying to train your back, right? So it's called the SAID principle. SAID, specific adaptations to impose demands. Okay, what that just means is that your body adapts to the stimulus that you give it. Okay, so it's very specific in how it does so. You're not going to get a bunch of general stimuli all at once to equal degrees and stimulate a whole lot of growth all at once. That's not how it works. Your limiting factor is your limiting factor, and that's going to be what is getting the closest to failure in your work, and that's what's going to be growing the most because that's what's going to be holding you back in progressing. Right? Logical. Okay, so keep that in mind, right? Because he's going to contradict himself later.
Until eventually he's hit a 500-pound deadlift. This shit is monumentous. He must have some insane
Did that, by the
forearms
way.
and oh shoot. You can also have the other case where Jimmy is told instead that he needs to do all these different forearm exercises or they'll never grow. You have to buy fat grips and do wrist curls, hammer
Arms have
curls,
gotten
reverse
bigger.
curls, extensions, towel pull-ups, rope
Talking
pull-ups,
about these right
etc.
here, like,
Then he just gets
whoosh.
overwhelmed and still doesn't know what to
I'm st-
do. You are
Guys,
probably
what
gonna
I
fall
say
into the
works.
same
It's
trap
still
Jimmy
working.
did. But nah, I got you with the
It's
no
still
bullshit
working.
method to grow your forearms. All you need are the 4 basic types of exercises I'll cover
Okay, he's
in
got
this
4.
video. No, you don't need to get rid of your straps. You should do your back exercises with straps whenever forearms become a limiting factor so you can continue maximizing back growth. What you will be doing instead is separate grip movements. This results in the best of both worlds. So in this video I will cover forearm anatomy and their functions, the S tier forearm exercises, how to add them to your routine, and lastly, progressing your grip strength. Let's do this shit.
Resting your grip strength, huh?
So the forearms are composed of 4 main sections: the extensors, flexors, pronators, and supinators. Each of these sections is comprised of a bunch of individual muscles to allow your hands to move intricately. But don't worry, for example, even if there are 3 muscles for the muscles to allow
Okay. See the flexi carpi muscle. Okay. And the diagram over there, the flexor carpi radialis. See that over there? Okay. 2 and 3. Those are your biggest flexor muscles. Okay. That's what does this right here. See that muscle up up more near the tendon, I should say. Okay, that's your flexor carpi ulnaris, number one. Okay, and then do you see all those tiny little muscles under those tendons? Okay, those are your flexor digitorum superficialis, right? This is exactly what I was saying before. The ones responsible for your grip are these right here. Okay, sure, if you want to build big, uh, I guess these right here, yeah, do some grip work too. Throw it in. I don't care about that. You get better at what you train at. Okay, but he's about to say that your majority of your forearm growth is going to come from training this, and then watch later about how he bastardizes these exercises to where muscles or exercises are supposed to work these muscles down here that give you this. He just turns it into a grip exercise anyways. Like this guy has four, well, I think, yeah,
Allow your
four.
hands to move intricately,
Watch.
but don't worry, for example, even if there are 3 muscles for the extensor section, they all work as a unit when you train them, so you only have to worry about your
Sure.
forearm muscles in sections, not the individual muscles. The pronators and supinators are not muscles you have to worry about. They don't contribute much to your forearm aesthetics, given that they're
True.
smaller, closer to the biceps, and sometimes hidden under other muscles.
So they still contribute. They still they still contribute. Okay, you don't get these down here and these up here just from doing extensions. You get them from pronation and supination, but supination does get taken care of with like if you're doing your bicep work correctly, like you don't have to worry about that. You're going to do a variety of curl types. You're going to do hammer, you're going to do preacher, you're going to do all sorts of curls. So you're going to train the biceps brachii as well as the brachioradialis. But that's besides the point.
The biceps also count as a supinator, except they're not part of the forearm. I'll still show you how to target the pronators and supinators though, but this isn't a video about growing your biceps. The sections are named after what they do, so like the extensors extend the wrist and fingers, the flexors flex the wrist and fingers. Finger flexion is the main thing taking place when you grip something, and it's what usually gives out. The pronators rotate the wrist into an overhand position or beyond. The supinators
So then why is it that people who get that 500-pound deadlift and that wicked grip strength on that big forearms then? What's the reason?
rotate the wrist
What's the
into an
reason?
underhand
What's the
position or
reason?
beyond. That's why
What's
some
the
people on curls tell you to hold the
reason?
dumbbells at one end, so it
The
makes your
logic's
biceps work
important.
harder to keep your hands supinated. Lastly, some forearm muscles also help curl the arm. That's why it's important to also do your bicep curls and shit. So what muscles are we going to be focused on targeting? Of course all the extensor muscles and all the flexor muscles of the forearm, but there is one muscle that sticks out, the brachioradialis. This one is located on the side of your arm right here. Why are we focusing on it? It contributes a lot to curling your arm, so targeting it is going to be a bit different. And it's also the biggest muscle in the forearms, meaning it's going to contribute probably the most to your overall forearm size. Alright, so now we know the muscles and what they do. Next up, these are the 4 key exercises I believe in for growing your forearms. 1. A wrist extension,
I'm
preferably
sorry.
with
I'm sorry. But it's funny, right? This is what I mean when I say we're in the Stone Age. We've got so many different creative ways to do everything these days. People sitting in this hectic sideways to do rear delt flies, which, by the way, I think that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. I do that. But, like, what? Why are we still. We can't get any more creative than that for the forearms, but we can get every single other. Like, it's crazy, man. It's crazy. I don't.
dumbbells. 2. A wrist curl, also
Preferably
preferably with
dumbbells.
dumbbells.
Why?
3. A forearm biased arm curl like the reverse curl or similar variations. 4. Grip exercises focused on holding onto some heavy shit for a
Da,
long
da, da,
period. And
da, grip
optionally 5.
exercise. Why? Why? I thought you said grip exercises weren't getting people big forearms, bro. What are you talking about? I don't get it. Like, okay, I can go into the science for why grip is not. Like, you progress. Okay, I'll say it real quick. You progress your grip strength a ton just based off of motor unit recruitment, right? Your hands are meant to doing these small things on a day to day basis. They're not usually flexing as hard as they can all at once. So if you're a powerlifter, you know this. If you're like 4 weeks out of a competition, you can train your grip for that 4 weeks, and then it'll be ready right where you need it in spades. Whereas before, maybe it's like 100 pounds less. And I guarantee you, if you've watched Ed Cohn or Mark Bell or any of these guys, kind of from that West Side era of powerlifting, if you kind of have listened to anything they have to say, they just recommend you just pick up a bar, carry it suitcase style, right? A heavy ass barbell, and just try to hold it there for as long as you can, and that'll progress your grip strength a ton. And you can do that in like 4 weeks and get great results. But your forearms are not going to get, and I guarantee you they're not going to grow a lot in that time, because 4 weeks is not enough for any muscle to grow significantly. Okay, you need longer than that. But that's besides the point. Okay, the point is the contradiction. Why are you saying that grip exercises are not going to get you jacked forearms, but then now they will? I don't get it. What's the difference between a farmer carry and a deadlift? Was it because you're holding both of them like at each side and you're walking? I don't get it.
A pronation exercise. I wouldn't really focus on
Makes you
supination
like
because
that
that should
kettlebell one.
already be sufficiently targeted with everything else you do. Beyond that, there are some training tweaks you can make that I'll explain. The reason I picked these exercises is because they will cover basically all the sections and muscles we care about efficiently. So first up, for wrist extension / wrist curl exercises, I highly recommend just using basic dumbbells for either. Barbells, even easy bars, can be harsh on the wrist. Your wrists are pretty intricate joints that have to move in pretty specific directions when under load,
Said
which
that
gets
right.
restricted when you're stuck to a barbell, leading to
So why are we
unwanted
using
pain. You
dumbbells,
want
bro?
equipment that allows your wrist to slightly rotate dynamically. Make sure you have some forearm support, otherwise you won't be able to drive maximum force into the weight using your forearms. Instead, what will happen is your forearms will just rotate up and down to compensate for you trying to move the weight. For forearm support, I recommend just using a basic bench, your legs, the edge of tables or counters, and even gaming chairs if they have adjustable armrests. What makes the bench so good though is that you can change the angle of it. This allows you to not have to strictly have your forearms pointing horizontally. What I recommend is having your forearms point up slightly when doing this
But why?
exercise. This
But
allows you to
why?
shift more tension onto your forearms when they are stretched, which
And this is the problem. We don't have logic, okay? He's got the right idea. You want to be able to change the angles. And I even said this in my first video that I made. If you can find a way to get that perfect angle where gravity going straight down isn't going to be a problem, then go for it, man. Like, more power to you. I can't find a way to do that. And look, even in that video, you can see this person is having a hard time, or is going to have a hard time keeping the fingers closed, okay, before the actual forearm flexor is even really challenged to a significant degree, okay. The stretch thing, like, bad logic leads to bad suggestions, okay. This is what I'm saying. You got the right idea, but this is why dumbbells are not optimal. Because look at this. Yes, okay. The form, you could say the forearm is stretched here, okay, but where's tension going? Think about that. Okay, where's the tension going? It's not going to be to folding to unfolding the wrist more. Okay, that's not where it's going to be. That's not where peak tension is going to be. All right, peak tension is going to be going this way, because the shape of the hand. It's not just gonna the dumbbell's not just gonna phase through it this way, right? So it's going to roll, and then as it rolls, the moment arm of the finger is going to increase, increase, increase. Okay, and then all of a sudden, boom, it's going out of your hand. Okay, instead of folding your, or sorry, I guess unfolding your wrist, right? Extending your wrist, forcing you to flex it. The D handle, on the other hand, with the cable, not only can you set it up so that it's got a more direct line of force against the wrist in that position, but on top of that, when you start to curl this way, the handle's going to rotate with you as that resistance profile stays the same. It's going to rotate with you, and it's always going to allow you to keep this bone underneath it. Okay, whereas with the dumbbell, you have to literally be able to curl your fingers to get the bone underneath it. With a D handle, it'll rotate with you. Okay, so it's just another reason why the cable is so much superior. On top of that, going like this with your arm down like this, way more comfortable on the wrist, and you have way better leverage, I promise, than doing it this way. Like this just sucks as far, like, you won't be able to recruit as many motor units. You just won't.
has been shown to positively affect muscle growth. This tweak works for both curls and extensions. Other pieces of equipment that work are cables, but they don't offer much benefit over just straight dumbbells. So this gives us 2 out of our
Yes,
4
they do.
exercises for forearms. And the only other modification you
I
can
just
make
said
is
why.
having your dumbbells be thicker, using thicker bars, or using
Why
shit
would
like
that
fat
be?
grist gets
Again,
this job done. This
why are we
forces your
training
forearms
grip?
to work harder to hold the weight. Not required, but this does help. Next up
No,
for
it
the forearm
doesn't.
biased arm curl.
Okay, so it increases your perception of effort. That's why it's harder. That doesn't make it better for training the forearm flexors. That makes it worse. Okay? Increasing that perception means that you won't be able to have access to as many motor units. Okay? It's the same problem with exercise not being stable. It's the same exact reason. Like,
There's a lot of options for this, but my most preferred exercise is just a simple reverse dumbbell curl or dumbbell hammer curl. But of course there are other options. Reverse curls will basically be the same as regular curls except your hands are in an overhand position. This emphasizes the brachioradialis. Hammer curls are where your hands are in a neutral position, your fist kind of looking like a hammer. This
it's
emphasizes the
fine.
brachioradialis because of
Yeah,
how
yeah,
hammer curls bar and
it
hamstring
does.
like a weight. One bonus
Yeah,
tip,
this
make
one,
sure you
the
don't hold
rope
the
curl,
dumbbells or
really, really
equipment
good.
like
Godlike.
on the wrist. Just pick either the reverse curls or the hammer curl. The results will essentially be the same, but if you enjoy a
Don't
certain
overthink
movement,
it.
also use modifications like a thicker bar as well. The rope accomplishes this pretty well. Another bonus tip for both exercise is just a simple dead hang, which I do skip,
Dang.
but it's a really easy way to load up your grip without needing any weight at
No, it's
all. It's
not.
not rocket science to find other variations of this, just whatever you can grip that's hard to hold
Ugh.
onto will get the job done. Just make sure you can hold onto it for at least like 20 seconds before failing, otherwise do
No.
something to make it easier to hold onto. In this slot, you can also modify the other exercises you already do, such as using thicker bars on pull-ups, bicep curls, and even deadlifts, but do know that it can come at the cost of your back and leg gains for a while. That's why I
How many muscles? Okay, how many muscles besides the low back, maybe? And I would even argue that people who do low back, who load flexion, or sorry, extension, I can guarantee they have bigger spinal erectors than people who don't and just train isometrically. But besides the low back, how many other muscles would you train isometrically and hope for them to grow? Biceps, chest, hamstrings? Like, why are we thinking the forearms are gonna grow from doing dead hangs? Okay, rock climbers can dead hang for hours. It's not gonna get them bodybuilder forearms.
preach just isolating your grip and forearm work instead. For the optional pronation exercise, I recommend some form of kettlebell hand rotations, or doing the same but
This
with a
one I
dumbbell
like.
that's only loaded on
Stable.
one side. Remember, the dumbbell has to be imbalanced, otherwise it wouldn't work. That's pretty much it for the exercises. Next up,
Okay. Okay. I'm only gonna go over the exercises now because the way he programs it is honestly even worse. But uh, there's too much all that. I'm gonna leave you guys with that. I'm gonna stop yapping now. Okay. Basically, don't do those exercises for the most part. Just look at. I have two videos on how to train your forearms specifically. I have two videos on them. Go watch those and just do those exact exercises. It's gonna be way better. And then because I have how to program it in too. I have that as well. I have the exact volume that you should be doing. Just go through it that way. Okay? Don't listen to this stuff. I don't want to do any more reactions to this type of video for a while, but I will react to other stuff, I guess. And I do want to know what you guys want to know about because that would make it easier to come up with ideas about topics that are not so one-sided, such as this one. I mean, it's not this guy's fault, man. He's just, doing what everyone does, but it's kind of the problem, right? It's better than what's his face's video. I don't remember his name, but that one was like a 2 out of 10. I give this one like a 3.5. Okay, but yeah, you guys have a good one. Train your forearms better than this, please.